When studying health and disease, it leads us to look at the body and what does it mean to be sick. And it leads one to question the self, because if we're unwell, we can say, I don't feel like myself today, I'm unwell. Well, who is the self that you don't feel like? Who is the thinker behind the thoughts? Who is feeling those feelings? Do you see? And I think there's a confusion that's happened in mainstream medicine. It's like how Lao Tzu says when the way of the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. And this is the self that can be felt and touched. This body is not the self. And not to get confused. So it's a bit like Alan Watts says, going out for dinner and eating the menu. You know, the body is the sign and symbol of the self. And English language gives us great clues, because when we don't feel well, what do we have? You would say, oh, sorry that you don't feel well. What are your symptoms? Now, what do we mean by symptoms? What are your signposts? What are the symbols that are telling you that you, the self, are not feeling well? Do you see the distinction? Yeah. A is the symptoms, and behind that is the true self and the Tao, or what Hahnemann calls the vital life force. Yeah. You've got the menu, then you've got the meal, not to get confused. And what pharmaceutical medication does is it targets the menu. So it aims the medicine at the sign or the symptom. What homeopathy does is we signpost our medicine to the actual meal, yeah, to the self. I love it. Some people are not going to get this, but other people are going to go, do you know what? That really makes sense. Yeah, why are we putting salt and vinegar on the menu? You want salt and vinegar on your chips? Put salt and vinegar on your chips, mate. I don't know. Anyway, have a little think about it, because that's where homeopathy exists. The vital life force, Samuel Hahnemann calls it. The Tao, you could call it, or you could call it Qi in Chinese medicine, or in the Bible, Christians, Paul called it our heavenly bodies. This is the self, and it's beyond the body. And that's where healing takes place. And then what are your signs and symptoms going to be showing? That you're well. You're going to finally feel like yourself.